Keep the place rocking alive, see it?
The average person really struggles to record themselves using their rear camera, which is the best camera on your phone. It's not the selfie camera. Stop pointing that one towards you and recording yourself. But it also feels like you need a second screen to make sure that you're in frame and not off to the edge or off to the side when you're using that good camera. And this little screen right there is going to solve all of those things. The Hohem V3 Ultra mobile gimbal. Thank you to Hohem for sending this out, for letting me use this, test this, to share my thoughts with you all. As always, honest, transparent, consumer-friendly, buyer-focused review. I have 4 of their gimbals now. They're one of my favorite brands, but that doesn't change anything. They're not the only brand that I use. I also use Insta360. I also use Fiutech, Scorp 2, etc. But today's video is about what I think is the best mobile gimbal on the market right now. For starters, from an ease of use standpoint, if you've ever used one of the Hohem gimbals, then you'll realize that this is pretty much using the exact same user interface. And so it's going to be really fast and easy to pick up how to use this without any issues whatsoever. And if you've never used one of their gimbals before, it's also really easy as well, because this one only has 3 screens that you really have to understand in order to learn how to use this. So the size of the iSteady V3 Ultra is pretty much the exact same size as the original iSteady V3. It's pretty much the exact same thing. They're pretty much the same. This one operates almost identical, but with the addition of the new touchscreen, which drastically changes everything on this. Another thing with the V3 iSteady, and I'm not doing, you ever seen those desk tests where like people like lean on it and pretend like they're pushing it? I'm not doing that. I actually am trying to pull that one off, whereas this one lifts a little bit on the corner there, but this one does not. That one has a solid seal on both both parts where it connects, if you will. It's pretty much the same size as my Insta360 Flow. If you're not familiar with Hohem gimbals, I still think that this is the fastest deploying gimbal on the market as far as being able to get this out, but by far these are better than the Insta360 Flow, at least version 1. I haven't tried to, so you let me know in the comment section below if you think that one's better. So why do I think that this one is the best gimbal on the market? There's pretty much 3 main functions that make me think that. The first reason is going to be this little 1.22 inch screen. This screen is phenomenal. Not only is it a touch screen, but it is also a remote. So it controls the gimbal remotely up to 10 meters or 33 feet. Each of the 3, let me make sure you get to see that. Each of the 3 main screens control a set of settings for the most part, but there's only 3 screens, so it's extremely easy to use. The second major reason that this is the best gimbal on the market is this particular feature right here. This is the screen tracking. Now this AI module is what you see, because there's a built-in camera on the AI module that allows you to see what the AI module is seeing. The red light is basically telling you that it's not tracking anything right now. When it's tracking me, that light turns green. And as you see, I'm controlling this completely with the remote without actually touching the gimbal. Now that feature is super freaking handy when you're far away from the gimbal. And the nice thing about this screen is that it doesn't just track humans. This tracks objects, animals, different things like that. So I can track moving vehicles, I can track my dogs, I can track my cats. You can always do the old-fashioned, so now it's tracking me in that way, right? You can always do that. And then the hand gesture, right? So that stops it from tracking. You can always do that, but you can also, with this little screen, you can draw around the object that you want to track, and then it will start tracking from there. The third feature I have been showing you this whole time. I don't know if you caught it. You let me know in the comment section if you caught it before I said this, but you do not have to use the Hohem Joy app with this gimbal. It has full functionality on whatever camera app you're going to use. So right now that is the base camera or the built-in camera app for iPhone, iOS, right? Which is the app that most people use. And it gets full functionality while using that. You don't have to use the Hohem app at all. You get that full functionality, whether it's using the gestures or whether it's using the remote. You get full functionality of this device without using any of the apps that go with the brand, right? You don't have to use the Hohem app. You don't have to use the, which again, I told you earlier why this one is way better. In order to use the AI features for this, you have to use the Insta360 app. Now, I don't know if that's the case with the V2. I didn't even look at that product when it came out because of the iSteady V3 that I already had, that had the built-in AI functions that also allowed me freedom, right? So I never looked at the second version for this because completely satisfied with this one. So I don't know, you let me know in the comment section if you still have to use the Insta360 app. But for me, a major reason that this is phenomenal is that my workflow doesn't have to change. I can use Blackmagic app, which is the main app that I use with my cell phone. And then I can use other devices as well with this. Because of the way that this is set up and all of the features, you can use this however you want. So I can use the Blackmagic app. I can use a external hard drive so that I can use the ProRes and all of that stuff. I can even connect a microphone down there if I want to, etc. The possibilities are endless with this, just on the 3 main features alone. So this gimbal has what they call a CNN-based deep learning algorithm, and they trained it on millions of scenes, and that's how it understands how to track and what to track. There's touchscreen controls on the gimbal with here, and then of course you can still use the touchscreen controls on whatever camera app you're using. So this is full controls because this goes on the front of the gimbal. So when you take this out, you're not losing any controls. Distance for like your gestures, that's not the same as the remote control. The remote control is 10 meters or 33 feet, whereas the gestures are about 5 meters. It has a 3-color fill light. Let's go down to the light control. So I can control the light as well on the gimbal touchscreen, but you can also control it on the gimbal itself with the button on the side there. And then let me hold that button in, which is the orange button. You can turn that up or down, right? So you controlling the gimbal that way. I'm not going over like all of the like controls. This isn't an instructional video. Let's take it outside so you can see what it looks like. And Jesus, you can see it's pitch dark outside. This is complete darkness in the middle of the night. And now I'm going to turn on the fill light. And so now we have complete brightness, and I can't see where I'm going, it's so bright. But this is what you can expect when using the fill light in complete darkness. Again, light off. And now the light back on again. So I think it works pretty good in regards to that. Let me know your thoughts. They say that this lasts up to 9 hours, basically, with just basic use. So, I mean, I'm assuming that is just sitting at, walking around with it, different stuff like that. 4 to 5 hours with AI tracking and the fill light. Now, as far as battery use for me, the most that I've used this is around 2.5 hours when I was filming in Myrtle Beach. It didn't even use half the battery. And then I turned it off and used it a couple more times. I've really, in the 4 months that I've had this, I've really never drained this completely. I have like put it on the charger because I'm getting ready to go somewhere and I'll make sure it's completely full before I go. But I've never had to actually use the whole 2.5 hours it takes to charge it. So I can't share that, like just being honest. Like I never really do, how people will do those tests where they'll turn it on and they'll leave it next to a timer, to see if the hours of use are accurate. Like I never do anything like that because that doesn't really prove anything. Because when you actually use the product, I never really I just don't do stuff like that. I don't think it's realistic in real world use. And I usually focus on user experience and real world use. So sorry if you were looking for that, maybe somebody's done that, but as I said, 2.5 hours, roughly a little under 2.5 hours of straight use. barely put a dent in it. It was around 60% battery life left. So two major questions you might have, and that is this worth the upgrade if you have this one, the iSteady V3 Ultra, even like the Insta360, the version 1. Again, I have not touched the version 2, and that is an easy yes. That is an automatic yes. This screen and the functionality in this screen is something that no other gimbal has on the market. You don't have to use the Hohem Joy app. You can use whatever app you want. Those two things alone. And the second question, would I suggest this to my friends, my other creator buddies? And the answer is absolutely yes. And you can ask Paul Feinberg or Kyle Watts or Corey Dickerson over at Freaky Tech Reviews, like at CES and NAB. I took them to the Hohem booth because that's how much I love these gimbals. But you know, as always, like, again, this is my use case. No product is perfect for everyone. What we call in the user experience or product management world, all products are made for a user in mind, so a persona, and I fit that description, I guess, because I absolutely love this. So let me know your thoughts. And I really cringe when I see this in the title, and that's why I never title my stuff. But this may be the king of gimbals. Have you ever noticed all the gimbal videos say the new king of, I don't know why, but anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel and you enjoyed today's content, consider subscribing and joining the Cozy Coalition. But as always, stay cozy in that crazy world, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.